Welcome to the fourth episode of the Underwear Skits, a sub-series of the Systematic PERCs podcast, where members and guests of the podcast talk about random things, random questions at random points in time. No scripts, no research, just people talking because they're too tired, yet cannot sleep. I'm one of the co-hosts. My name is Carlo Maramag, and I'm joined by a very special guest, Boss Aina Fontanilla, a Hume student studying at St. Paul College of Bukawi. Wow, so before we start, 'di ba? Umit lang natin yung mga no research and no scripts kasi nga may nag-research din naman kami nag-script din kami ng slide actually para lang ma-explain namin ng maayos yung mismong topic. And the topic, yun nga naman. Today we're going to discuss medyo serious topic. Kasi nga 'di ba? We want to parang bago-baguhin natin yung ibang tono nitong podcast series natin. And today we're going to talk about discuss rather performative activism and actual activism. So, hi Aina, welcome. Thank
Hello.
you for guesting.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so start na kagad tayo. Meron pong before diba? Dami kong alam. Start na kagad tayo. Before we actually proceed dun sa mga ibang natin, let's discuss first nga, what is actual activism? In your own words, Aina, ano sa tingin mo?
So, activism is taking action for social change. So, one of the reasons why activism exists is because of the social issues that we have at this day and age. So, you can ask the question how can I change the world? How can I make a difference and impact many people? That's basically activism. And examples of activism are protests, boycotts, strikes, letter writing, petitions, and especially social media campaigns. So that's activism.
Pero ngayon, when we're talking about activism, kasi nga parang nagkakaroon ng change when we're actually talking about activism. And what Aina was talking about, yung nasa protests, mga boycotting, ganyan, parang it was mostly, parang abundant sila pre-pandemic, di ba? Pre-pandemic. Pero today, a lot of people are actually parang nilabel nila yung parang social activism, social media, 'di ba? So how would you define that, activism in social media?
I think it creates an impact but it's not the same. Kasi I know that it's fairly accessible to a bunch of people compared to going to protests and stuff like that. It's much safer. Pero I don't think that it creates that impact. Yung pupunta ka, diba, at a place and then you go protest and meet new people and learn from people. Ganon. I think that actually protesting outside and strikes, ganon, that creates more impact. But now, social media campaigns and creating awareness online, syempre, that creates an impact as well. And as I've said before, mas accessible just to many people. So I think that's what do you call this? That's a good thing for it too. So yeah.
So yun nga. So mayroong mga differences when it comes to real so hindi naman real activism, parang interactive activism, 'di ba? Sa labas when you're talking kausapin mo yung a lot of people, ganyan. May pag-interact ka sa kanila, actual protest. Pero in social media kasi, parang nagkakaroon nga dito kasi nagkakaroon ng evidence ng performative activism, yun nga.
Yes.
Yeah, yun nga, sabi nga nila. Kasi nga, 'di ba, when you're outside protesting, it's not performative activism, yun nga naman. Hindi nga naman performative activism yun. So when we talk about yun nga, performative activism ngayon sa current culture sa social media, how would you define it? Yun nga naman. Kasi nga, di ba?
Okay. So, performative activism, first of all, that's not activism. People do it to increase, as what you said, it increases their fame and they pretend that they actually know something when they don't. They treat it as a trend, which does more harm than good. Kasi social issues are not trends. You cannot treat it as if it's a fashion trend or a new thing. It's very disrespectful to people who are affected by that advocacy. And activism nga is an act where you promote change and you step up to do something. And with performative activism, you actually don't do anything. You just share, ganon. Tapos wala na. Turn off your phone, call it a day. Yeah.
So bagay. Parang remember last year, di ba, nagkaroon ng bagyong Ulysses? Di ba, a lot of people were displaced, a lot of, private property were damaged, ganyan. Yun nga. Tapos, an example of performative activism nga social media, since it happened during the pandemic, is like saying na, kaya mag-tweet ka, you're a famous person, ganyan, tweet mo, sabi mo, I'm so sad na ganito yung nangyari sa people sa bagyong Ulysses. Tapos yun lang. Literally nothing. Wala lang. Ganun lang. O kaya sabihin mo lang na, for example, isa kang youth organization, ganyan. Tapos ang gawin mo lang is that reiterate mo lang yung number of people that were affected, ganyan. I mean, it's good nga naman. It's good to spread awareness of what's happening. Pero like as an organization, as an actual group of people who have the opportunity to help, parang meron kayong opportunity to like create a donation drive, create a ganito, ganon. O kaya even share a donation drive from other groups. Ang gagawin mo lang is like, yun nga, parang nagiging second-hand news station. Yun lang ang nangyari sa'yo. Kasi all of these informations nga naman na sinasabi mo ulit is readily available, yun nga, sa mga big news stations. Yun nga naman. And yun nga, doubling on dun sa sinabi ni Boss Aina natin, dun sa social media and performative activism, why do you think na people do it? Why do you think that people do this performative activism? Is it because they inherently want to increase their fame? Gusto lang ba nila ng clicks or likes? Or are some of them just inherently victims of it? Parang, hindi naman victims, parang hindi nila naiintindihan. They just think that they need to participate on it. Diba? Ano sa tingin mo yung
both. Like a lot of social media influencers would use social issues for clout. Para magkaroon sila ng bagong audiences, and then many people would think na, oh my God, you're so great, ganon, because you're so woke, blah blah blah. And then second, a bunch of people, as I've said nga, like they're treating it as a trend. So if they see their friend like reposting something, ay, repost ko din yan kasi ganon, blah blah. It's just, I don't know. I don't get it because I'm not like that. It's very difficult to disseminate like, why do they think like that when you're not like them, you know? So sabagay, yeah. So yeah, it's both, clout, and then they fall for it because they're not very educated about the issues. And yeah, they don't know the real meaning of activism, basically.
They just think na kapag they retweet this or they participate in this na sobrang daming gumagawa nun. They think na it actually does impact something, when it doesn't nga naman. Example nga doon yung since we're talking about it nga, mabigyan na rin tayo ng example talaga, is yung di ba? Okay, so before we start, trigger warning dun sa mga nanonood natin. Yun nga, yung repost, if you're against ganito, di ba? If you're against rape, di ba? Merong okay, so I think that a lot of people are actually doing it, yung parang lahat sila nag-participate, is that they think na yung tao na gumawa nito is above criticism. Because they inherently think na tao dito, na nagpo-promote siya ng some sort of advocacy, na nagpo-promote siya ng some sort of motion or movement against it. Pero hindi. Just because a person or someone posts na dapat, you should be for gay rights. If you're not, you're homophobic for me. Pero a lot of people are actually,
I can see who skips.
I can see who skips, di ba? And that, for example, a person sees it, tapos ang sasabihin niya na, pag hindi ko ito ginawa, sasabihin nito, homophobic ako, pero hindi. Sadyang hindi ko lang, pero in truth, pwedeng hindi nilang naiintindihan masyado yung topic. So, kailangan pa niya ng information on it. Yan nga. Kaya nila, yun nga, yung mga retweets na ganito, yung mga reposts na ganyan,
Yeah.
it's inherently dangerous kasi it removes any sort of discussion on it. Yun lang.
Exactly.
Parang ano lang, yun nga, yun lang.
And it doesn't help.
Yeah.
Diba? It doesn't help at all. Like, if there is nothing wrong with reposting, diba? Long as it has like hotlines, links to donate, petitions, ganon, that's okay. Pero kasi, it's just that sticker, tapos repost if you're against, blah, blah, blah. That's so bad.
Repost if you're against repost, di ba? Weird nga nun. Parang na-weirdan nga rin ako dun di ba? Parang, medyo ano nga rin siya, medyo meta rin yung nangyaring part. Pero I mean, I agree with the Kasi nga, di ba, after nag-trend yung hindi naman, actually, nag-trend talaga siya. Yung, a lot of people criticizing nga yung reposting, ganto.
Yeah.
Tapos all of a sudden, a lot of people are actually reposting na, nire-repost nila na you shouldn't repost about ganto. So, di ba, medyo meta lang. Napansin ko lang ng slide. Pero ayos lang din naman yun. Kasi yun, at least yun, di ba? Merong actual na message, may actual na gustong gawin. Na mag-inform na bawal. Di ba? Parang,
bawal.
Bawal, di ba? Bawal. Parang mali. Di ba? Parang, paano kaya yun? Di ba? No? Paano kaya yun? How do you, for example, another person, tapos sabihin mo na, sabihan mo na makakita siya ng post, for example, na repost this if you're for gay rights. If you're not, you're homophobic. Ganyan. Pero, that person in this case doesn't even know what gay rights is, doesn't even know kung ano ibig sabihin nito, ganon. And so, they encounter this sort of, this aggressive label. Tapos, ang gagawin lang niya is that, he becomes aggressive towards it. Ganon lang ulit. So, instead of understanding or discussing it, sasabihin lang niya na, ano ba itong ginagawa nitong mga to? Parang, nililabel lang kaagad ako ng ganito. Ganyan. Ano na nangyayari? Kaya, weird. So weird.
Very. Okay. Under performative activism, we also have selective activism. Yon. I wanted to briefly touch on that because I'm a feminist for almost 6 years, and I see a lot of people who do that. Katulad na lang nung what do you call this? What happened with George Floyd last year, I believe. 'Di ba nakarating yan sa country natin, and they say na, why are you like promoting his problem? We have our own problem in our country. That's very wrong. If you want to be an activist, you are for every issue that is there in the world. Like, hindi mo pa pwedeng i-compare yung other issues with each other because that's very wrong. And also, cherry picking certain issues is not right. So cherry picking is basically nitpicking what benefits you. So for example, you're a feminist pero homophobic ka tsaka racist ka. That's not right. That's not right.
Weird.
Because if you're a feminist, you're for everyone. You can't pick and choose, 'di ba? So that's also very rampant with what's happening kasi nga a lot of people are being educated about issues and then they label themselves as, I'm a feminist, ganon, but they're not. It takes, like, you have to learn about it, diba? Hindi lang, you can't be a feminist overnight.
Tama ka, no? Parang weird nga rin, diba, no? Pero yun nga, doon sinabi ni Aina dun nga rin sa cherry picking and stuff like that. Yun nga, di ba? Parang napansin ko nga na nag-trend nga itong ano na to. Parang, it's good nga a lot of people are actually supporting it. Pero when you look at their views on actual Philippine activism, parang sasabihin nila na parang susuportahan nila yung mga nag-activist on America, on these other countries.
Yeah.
Pero when it comes to activism here in the Philippines, sabi nila, naggugulo lang kayo, nag-iingay lang kayo, ganyan. So,
yeah.
Weird, di ba? O kaya, sasabihin nila na don't be racist or don't say this word, this stuff, ganyan. Tapos ang view nila sa indigenous people are people na they're not on the same level as them, parang ganon. If you're supporting yun nga yung mga advocacies, Stop Asian Hate, Black Lives Matter, BLM, ganon, the Me Too movement, dapat you're also very aware of what's happening specifically on your in your end din.
Yes.
And you should be educated enough to actually make a stand on it. Hindi yung pwedeng politically inclined ka ron sa ibang country tas apolitical ka when it comes sa country mo. Ang weird, di ba? So weird, man. Parang hindi ko siya nagigets. Oh, weird.
Yung mas alam mo pa yung issue sa ibang country,
tapos
tas di mo alam yung nangyayari sa bansa mo.
Ang weird din yung mga ganun eh. Sabi kong ganyan. So, yun nga. While we're talking about dito nga sa mga trending issues, clicks and discussions, clicks v discussions, what do you think is the youth's role natin? Kasi nga, very avid social media users tayo. Beyond the retweets, share nows, or reposts, ano sa tingin mo?
There are steps na very simple that we can do. And now that we're constantly on our phones and stuff, once you see a social issue and you want to help, there are links to sign petitions and there are links to make donations, and I think that's like one of the simplest steps that you can make. And signing petitions, pwede nila isipin na magsasign lang ako ng signatures, ganyan, pero it makes such a big difference and it helps a lot. So ayun, at this day and age, what we can do is sign petitions and donations. You can't just stop with reposting and sharing issues. You have to do something about it. Yan.
Yeah, yun, very nice. Siya, diba? Yan nga, youths roll beyond retweets and share nows, di ba? Parang weird naman kasi kung sobrang dami mo nang nakikitang issues, tas ang ginawa mo lang is that nag-retweet ka lang ng info na already available to a lot of people, tapos yun lang, wala ka nang ginawa. Yun lang. Or nakita mo na may bagyo, tas ang daming tao na naapektuhan, na sa ginawa mo, gumawa ka ng kanta. You're so progressive, pare. Oh my God.
Impactful.
So, grabe. The impact. Grabe naramdaman nila. How weird, diba? So weird.
Yeah.
So, yeah, diba? Parang instead of being tawag dito, second-hand news stations when it comes to we should actually tawag dito promote actual advocacies. Yeah, actual advocacies which we will discuss yun nga sa next episode. Yung actual advocacies talaga. Ano ba talagang actual advocacy? Yun nga, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Parang mahirap din kapag puro ulit tayo na ganun. So, trending issues today, something about activism is that merong 'di ba?
Yes, my provisions just yesterday. So, wait, what's the date today? We're recording this at December 10. And yesterday, December 9, I have a whole script for this. The Supreme Court declared some provisions of terror law unconstitutional. So, a little background. The Anti-Terrorism Act of 2020, or the Republic Act 11479, was signed by President Rodrigo Duterte last year, July 2020. And many people, specifically lawyers and human rights activists, were alarmed kasi nga, di ba, yung definition nila of terrorists and terrorism was so vague and broad. Yung ultimo, pwede kang i-arrest without a warrant. And so ayun nga, may provisions. In Section 4E, it indicates that terrorism as defined in the section shall not include advocacy, protests, dissent, stoppage of work, industrial or mass action, and other similar exercises of civil and political rights, which are not intended to cause death or serious physical harm to a person, to endanger a person's life, or to create a serious risk to public safety. So, this is a small victory for us because they don't necessarily view activism as terrorism, though, as I've said before, there are still a lot of provisions to be made Because this law is just ridiculous. And the fact that it's rushed, it's a little bit suspicious. Kasi, this government doesn't take good criticisms. Like, when they receive criticisms, alam mo na kung ano mangyayari sa'yo.
Medyo na.
So, yeah. We're a democratic country, di ba?
Oh,
we
super
can
weird,
criticize... Yes, we can criticize our leaders, our public officials, so they could be better. But yeah, it's a small victory. Actually, you can still sign petitions for that, for the Supreme Court to revise it more. I can give you a link, Carlo.
Sige. Sige, yun. Actually, yes. Buti na lang. Tatanungin sana kita eh. Buti na lang meron talaga. So, we'll link it down below sa description and the comment section sa Facebook page natin. Yun nga. Ayun rin ako kasi hindi kasi ako siya... nakita ko siya eh. Para last kahapon. Nakita ko siya actually.
Yeah.
Parang nag-trending nga siya ng tapos hindi ko siya nabasa kasi ang dami kasing happenings. I guess it is parang so previously kasama ang activism as a sort sa
yes, as terrorism. Kaya nga 'di ba last year a bunch of people naging trend din siya. A lot of people were posting about junk terror law ganon.
Ay, nga.
Tapos hindi naman sila nag-petition.
So medyo heavy topic tayo today. Medyo pero it's an important topic nga naman na we need to actually with the upcoming elections nga naman. Totoo naman with the upcoming elections. So yun nga. You should have or vote a leader that takes criticisms well or who doesn't tawag dito and doesn't express themselves na kapag naka-receive sila ng criticism violently or aggressively, yung merong na-criticize sa kanya na, for example, human rights lawyer, hindi na sasabihin na, ang laki-laki ng ipin mo, hindi nila gaganunin. Diba? Hindi nila gaganunin, di ba? So, kasi weird, di ba? Because, they are leaders, they are not our ganto-ganto. So, we should have the actual right to, to have our voices be heard when it comes to these topics, when it comes to these issues na won't just affect us or the people around us, because it will affect people after us, di ba? Mga anak natin, ganun. The next generation, it would affect them. So, yun nga, small promotion lang dito sa since we're talking about, yun nga, advocacies, ganyan, activism, kahit magkakaroon nga naman ng next episode on it. Is yun nga, the Kapit Bisig organization, youth organization, member. Nice. Kanina lang ako naging member actually, pero yun. Nice. It's a youth organization bent on providing Christmas goods and Christmas meals. Christmas goods and meals for local tricycle drivers in Santa Maria. It's a youth organization mostly made up of our batch, di ba? Sa St. Paul, Santa Maria dati. Yun. So, if you guys want to donate or you want to share, kanya retweet, kasi at least this time you're retweeting donation din. Yun nga. If you guys want, we'll also link it down below along with the petition na isend sa kanya na later. So, yun nga. Yun. So, remember to actually know your sources first before you actually tawag dito. Retweet before you actually post something, think about it. Ganon. And don't guilt trip. Oh my God. Ang weird yun, di ba? Parang,
don't give what?
Don't guilt trip, di ba? Diba?
Guilt trip.
Don't guilt trip. Ang weird, di ba?
Yeah.
Parang people should, tawag dito, people should promote your advocacy based on what they know about it. Alam nila yung mga nangyayari dito. Hindi yung dahil pinilit mo sila. Di ba? Ang weird din. Problem din yun. Di ba? Kasi forcing people to ganto. Bad din yun. Yun nga. Okay. So, thank you, Boss Aina Fontanilla, for joining us. Yes. Thank you for joining us. If you guys want to watch more episodes like this one, remember to subscribe and like our YouTube channel. follow our Facebook page, as well as visit our official Wix website. Remember to vote wisely and remember to check your
Mm-hmm.
sources, 'di ba? Totoo nga naman. Yeah. So again, I am Jose Carlo Maramag, the co-host of the Underwear Skits, and today I'm joined by boss.
Aina.
Yeah,
Woo!
yeah, thank you. Maraming thanks. Thank you so much.